Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM and also on over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Amenuveve FM in Apawu, A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. We're also on ATL FM in Cape Coast, Glenham Radio in Bato. You can also go digital on Spotify, my joyonline.com app, also on Facebook. In this edition, former Energy Minister Bwakwe Jako breaks silence on circumstances that led to his sacking by President Akufo-Addo in 2018, describing it as a hoax, claims the review of the Ameri deal was the reason.
Which of the parliamentarians can put their hearts on their hand and swear that they saw the Novation Agreement, read it, analyzed it? This whole thing was a hoax. Get Bwakwe Jako out. I will say it today.
He accuses government of lacking foresight in the management of the economy, insisting the Russian invasion of Ukraine cannot be blamed. Plus, he's also been speaking about his relationship with President Akufo-Addo.
I was called by the Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff, Nefreo?
Yes, and said that the President said he can't work with me again. I said, that's fine. Then I moved.
President Ankasa Nefreo?
No.
Only one Kasa?
No.
Also in this package,
issues about the integrity of the register, issues about the integrity of the very process of the election. There's an election that has been in waiting for about 1.5 years now. There is no reason why the elections should be in limbo.
Ghana Journalists Association elections in limbo as chairman of elections committee quits just days to polls. We hear from some candidates in the election and a desperate plea from the outgoing president who is refusing to accept the resignation letter. Also, Chamber of Agribusiness blames improper implementation of the Planting for Food and Jobs program for its inability to meet its expected goals.
The PFJ, for me, even though it was a good project, wasn't well implemented, and there were too many fragmentation within that front. So there seems to be a major non-alignment in our food production.
But the Agric Minister scores the program 100%.
Its impact is changing psychology of people towards agriculture, attitude towards agriculture. You cannot put a value on it.
And in sports,
in short, Remand and Tamale City to vie for a place in the Ghana Premier League as they compete in the playoff.
And some Ghanaians are considering parking their vehicles and walking because they can no longer afford the skyrocketing fuel prices.
Any day, any time, the fuel price is going up. And right now, we don't know what to do now. So we have to start packing our cars and start walking.
That's in our Living Standard series for this afternoon. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa. Apawu, many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. More reason why you want to stay for details. Many thanks for your company. Let's settle now. And he was sacked as Energy Minister in 2018 by President Akufo-Addo over what was believed to be his decision to review the Ameri energy deal. Government had sought parliamentary approval to review the build, own, operate and transfer agreement it entered into with Africa and Middle East Resources Investment Group, Ameri Energy, on February 10, 2015. A memorandum approved by government and submitted to Parliament asking for the approval indicated that the new transaction had a waiver of $52.7 million due Ameri Energy that the government of Ghana would have to pay. But today, the former Energy Minister Bwakwe Jako says the claim was a hoax meant to tarnish his image because of his presidential ambition. He spoke on Asempa FM's Ekosi saying,
Which parliamentarian saw this? Tell me. Which parliament? The committee did not even want to executive approval stage. We asked that it be laid before Parliament. And that is where suddenly there's a resistance.
From why?
Speaker and chairperson called and said, there is opposition to me laying this in Parliament. And their advice was that till they come back. And I said, whatever it is, say next year, say next term, I don't care. We can withdraw it. Right. So tell me which of the parliamentarians can put their hearts on their hand and swear that they saw the Novation Agreement, read it, analyzed it. This whole thing was a hoax. Boache Jaku out. I will say it today.
The whole thing was contrived, it was orchestrated just to get Boache Jaku out of office. Look, to achieve what? Now,
Look at the members of the committee. How is the agreement going to benefit me? President didn't say no.
So how was his dismissal from government communicated to him, and what is his relationship with President Akufo-Addo? Listen to Boache Jaku.
Is it also the case, didn't he trust you?
He has to answer that. I trust him. I trusted him.
But you don't trust him now?
Well, I don't have a relationship now.
A relationship with the president?
No, I don't.
Somebody you were campaign manager for?
I have, look, people get married for 30 years and get divorced, don't they? I have known president since 76.
76?
Yes.
In the case you don't have a relationship, I mean, you are not on talking terms. Monkasa.
Oh, of course we don't.
You don't talk?
Yes, or time. But we've learned to go, Midday, I've learned to move on and go my separate way.
Your separate way.
Because at the end of the day, that is what life is. Me, I will never let anybody bring me so low as to hate him. But there comes a time when circumstances make it that you go your way.
You have to move on.
You have to move on. Yes, because not even I have not spoken to him over the phone.
Over the phone?
No.
Not even over the phone?
No.
Not to talk of face to face?
Face to face once. Over a year ago.
Over a year ago. Before the communication, neighbor say or relieve you off your post. How was it done? Face to face, through a letter, through a mail?
No. I was called by the chief of staff.
Chief of staff, Nefreo?
Yes, and said that the president said he can't work with me again. I said that's fine. Then I moved.
President Ankasa and Freo?
No.
Only one Kasa?
No.
Meanwhile, Boache Jaku, who served as vice president of the New York Bank in the United States, says government must boldly acknowledge to Ghanaians the dire situation of the country. According to him, that will be the first step toward addressing the challenges and putting the country back on track.
Yes, it is true that external factors will play a huge role, especially if you look at Ghana. We are called a small open economy. Our degree of openness is about 80%. So we are at the mercy of the vicissitudes of the world.
Yeah.
That is a given. It doesn't help any flogging that dead horse or blaming Ukraine. That is why forward planning
is
important. That is why you plan for resilience. So what do? Government is trying very hard, bravely, to mitigate some of these things. Right? But is that mitigation enough? And are we even forward-looking? Are we taking the hard decisions? And now they call World Bank. Some now call World Bank. COVID, over my 1 billion.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, that's a lot of money. How did we use it? Parliament,
yeah, the finance minister is here to account. Enko account here.
Well, okay, so what's the Odiscabano? Onte.
Former Energy Minister Boache Jaku. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has called on developed countries to help Africa out of the current economic challenges occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. He's been speaking at the European Union Development Days conference happening in Brussels, Belgium.
The combined effects of debt situation, rising interest rates, and rising cost of living are resulting in severe macroeconomic and financial instability. What is clear is that the ensuing damage cannot be cured so easily with the limited fiscal tools at our disposal and national policy adjustments. The long-standing relationship between Africa and Europe, founded on ties of blood, culture, geography, and history, should serve as a platform for enhanced cooperation between us.
President Akufo-Addo. Now, this afternoon, Ghana Journalists Association's scheduled elections to replace its old executives are in limbo after the chairman of the elections committee resigned just 4 days to the polls. Now, this is the first time the Union of Ghanaian Journalists is attempting to hold elections since the expiration of the tenure of the incumbent executives led by Roland Afilmoni almost 2 years ago. A 3-member election committee has been steering the process, which was to end on Friday, June 24. But just 4 days to the polls, its chairman, lawyer Osei Kweju-Addo, quit the role. My colleague Manuel Crantin joins me in studio with a copy of his resignation letter. What are the details?
So, Emefa, the letter is addressed to Mr. Afilmoni, President, Ghana Journalists Association, and it is titled Letter of Resignation. And it says, I am by this letter indicating that I have resigned as the chairman of the Elections Committee of the Ghana Journalists Association. My reasons are personal, and it is signed Osei Kweju-Addo, Esquire.
And we know that Mr. Afilmoni has replied. What exactly did he say?
So, in much a swift response to this resignation letter, Mr. Afilmoni acknowledged having received a letter which was on grounds of personal reasons, just as it was written, but says, unfortunately, we are constrained to accept your resignation, more so with barely 3 days to go to the polls to choose new executive officers for the association. Having sacrificed inestimably all this while and surmounted formidable challenges along the way, we plead that you reconsider your decision in the supreme interest of the GJA.
So where then does this leave us when it comes to the election?
Well, so Emefa, the letter actually concludes, written by Mr. Afilmoni, actually concludes by saying that please resume your mandate under Article 43 of the GJA Constitution as you work collaboratively with the stakeholders to ensure that the election is held on Friday, 24th June 2022 as scheduled. We've spoken to lawyer Osei Kweju-Addo, who has confirmed to us indeed that he wrote that resignation letter, and also confirmed that he has not cited any letter so written by Mr. Afilmoni instructing him to go back and take up the post as chairman of the elections committee of the GJA.
Well, we'll be hearing from one of the candidates for the presidential position shortly, but let me bring in outgoing president of the GJA, Mr. Roland Afilmoni. We are grateful for your time. So you've been hearing from my colleague Manuel Crantin confirming that Mr. Addo says he has not received that letter that you've sent in terms of your reply to his resignation. Really, are you aware that he hasn't received it, and where does this leave us when it comes to the election on Friday?
As you speak, we are at a workshop in Hull with judges on freedom of expression and safety of journalists. So I've been operating from home. So last night, I've been communicating with all the stakeholders, some of the key stakeholders, trying to persuade them to let sanity prevail and to ensure that we deliver election on Friday. The decision by Osei Kweju to resign has come bone rattling close to the election, and the implications would be unthinkable if he should go ahead with the resignation. So we're compelled by reality to persuade him to rescind the decision, and I am inclined to believe that Osei Kweju will come back and resume his position as chairman of the election committee.
And have you personally contacted him, because he's told us that he hasn't seen any letter that you've written?
Yes, since then I tried to get in touch with him. Eventually, I spoke to him, and that has reinforced my conviction that we will come back and then resume the process of getting it to the finishing line, hopefully on Friday.
Well, reading your letter, it sounded quite desperate. How fatal is this resignation to the electoral process anyways?
Certainly it was going to scatter all that has been done, and as indicated in the letter, we've been scaling formidable hurdles along the way, suspicions. We do that every electoral process is short of perfection, and the GJ elections have not been perfect like all other elections, but we were fortunate to have Dr. Srebo from the Electoral Commission on board, and he came at the right time to inject a semblance of optimism into the process. And so what appeared to be a confusing situation, assuming the character of a peaceful election on Friday, only for some of these unforeseen situations to arise and then to attempt to throw everything out of gear. But as I said, we have every cause to serve the whip of optimism that the headers will be declared and the election will be held on Friday.
Hopefully, we're hoping that lawyer Osei Ado will listen. But does that mean that no lawyer Osei Ado, no election on Friday?
We'll continue to stay on the side of optimism that I should come back. We also had to resolve another issue with Dr. Sribo Kweku, who was being pelted with all kinds of rubber stones. We were being subjected to all kinds of suspicions. Meanwhile, this is somebody who sacrificed in his ability to bring us this far. And I have to speak to him, and he's also on the side of continuation.
We are grateful. That's the outgone GJA president, Roland Afil Money there. We're monitoring events closely, but one of the candidates for the presidential position, Gehat Mensah, says the resignation of the elections committee chairman must not prevent the elections from proceeding as planned. Here's why.
It's an election that has been in waiting for over 1.5 years now, and at a point when we thought that even if the issues that have dogged these elections have not all been resolved, we've been able to negotiate at least a curve. For the resignation to come at the time that it did was for me very surprising. I know, though, from my meeting with the elections committee and also from the various positions that the chairman has taken, I know that he feels a little bit frustrated. I know he's not very easy with some of the issues that are raised, not personal issues, but issues about the integrity of the register.
That's Gehat Mensah vying to become the GJA president. Now, we'll turn our attention to other stories, and the Chamber of Agribusiness says the improper implementation of the Planting for Food and Jobs program has affected its inability to meet its expected goals. The policy, one of government's flagship intervention, was designed to improve food security and create jobs as well. It has, however, been criticized for failing to fully deliver on its targets. My colleague Justice Bede, who has been to parts of the Western region, reports of a gradual shift from the growing of food crops to cash crops. Analysts have warned this could further escalate food prices and the country may be forced to import food soon if the trend continues. Here's Justice's report.
Gifty Archer was born into a family of farmers. She says her father was able to put herself and 5 other siblings through school with money from their family oil plantations. 5 years ago, she cut down her oil palm farm to grow rubber.
There were times we would even harvest oil palm fruit, and there would be a glut. We won't even get buyers. So since I grew up, I have made a decision to stop farming food crops. There's more money in rubber. Oil palm is also good, but not like rubber.
This area of the Western region has vast, fertile lands and have for years been a hub for the growth of oil palm and many other food crops. But now, things are changing.
We didn't look exactly at the quantum of land that has been put under this.
Professor Robert Edu, an agric economist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, has spent years studying this trend.
When all the food crop lands are used for cultivation of cash crops, at the end of the day, then the national production level will come down in terms of food crops. What it would mean is that we will have to import from neighboring countries.
Well, the Agric Minister, Dr. Ifri Akoto, who spoke on PM Express with Evan Spencer, believes the Planting for Food and Jobs program has been perfect.
I will score it 100%. There is impact in changing psychology of people towards agriculture, attitude towards agriculture. You cannot put a value on it. Yes.
They can measure you based on the food you produce and the jobs you create.
Right.
On those two variables, would you still score yourself 100%?
From the government statistics, which came out last month, that agricultural growth in 1 year was 8.4%.
No policy can be perfect.
Yeah, but I mean,
you admit that is
look,
overstating it.
You will be giving your own mark. I'm giving my marks.
You heard the Agric Minister taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, we'll turn attention to the Association of Judges and Magistrates. They say they don't take ex gratia, as some have alleged, but they'd rather take back pay when their actual salary is computed. They've issued a statement. We'll be going through it. Also, the Special Prosecutors Board are being inaugurated, amongst others. And some Ghanaians are considering parking their vehicles and walking because they can no longer afford the skyrocketing fuel prices. That and more after the break.
Yamawa Akwaba, ba Akwaba Magic Ebusia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Tiao, Ewo DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. Enianom Akwaba Magic Ebusia, Eddie Nidia wa Ghanaian programs mu Baufi, Ebiti Sedede, To Have and to Hold, Enyom, Senior Cassia, series, and talk show, Bemo Wakao TV set Nechi, Akwaba Magic Ebusia, Ewo DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cedis per, and Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cedis per Ebusia Akwaba.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports.
Emefa, this afternoon is a definite moment for two clubs in the Division 1, especially for Zone 1, because they are competing for a playoff to secure qualification to the Ghana Premier League. These two teams are Tamale City and Insuatruman FC. At the end of the league season, Insuatruman FC and Tamale FC both had 71 points, and they had the same head-to-head after winning their respective matches 1-0 each. So the Ghana Football Association has organized a playoff to determine which of these teams will qualify to the Ghana Premier League from Zone 1.
Thank you very much, Muftau, for the latest from the world of sports. Now, some drivers are considering parking their vehicles and joining public transport or walking. This is because they can no longer afford the skyrocketing fuel prices that appears to have become a monthly affair. Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson has been speaking to some of them in our Living Standard series.
Fuel prices has shot up from an average of 6 cedis 80 pesos in January to 13.50 pesos in June. This is about 13.9% rise every month since the beginning of the year. Some drivers say it is now a luxury to fill their tank to the brim.
Now it's our time for us. We have to start working because any day, any time, the fuel price is going up. And right now, we don't know what to do now. So we have to start packing our cars and start working. Where I stay, I buy 400 Ghana cedis.
So when the person gave the car to me, he asked me to go and try it. If the fuel is good for me, then we go in agreement for work and pay. So when I tried it, that was in January. Yeah, when I tried it, it was very good because the fuel was low. So I went in agreement with him, and now, because the fuel is high, so I'm doing a double work now. I'm getting overtime. I'm doing overtime now. Okay, I spend almost 250. And when I spend 250, I don't get enough. Maybe when I'll get like 150.
That's our Living Standard series. The full version comes up later this evening. I'll take you to Parliament shortly, but first, the Association of Judges and Magistrates today have been issuing a statement clarifying issues surrounding their receipt of ex gratia. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with details of it. What have they been saying?
They say that the salaries of superior court judges, that's Supreme Court judges, Court of Appeal judges, and High Court judges are determined once every 4 years by the President of the Republic on the recommendation of a committee appointed by the President under Article 71 of the Constitution. That if increases are effected in the salary as a result of the recommendations of the committee, the judges are then paid arrears of salary, commonly called back pay, arising from the backdating of the salary increase. The arrears of salary or back pay are accordingly paid in a lump sum or installment. This has been the situation since 1996, according to the statement. Again, it says that it is this arrears of salary or back pay which is mischievously being described as ex gratia in the press, particularly on radio, television, on social media platform, and some seasoned journalists and so-called social commentators who never attempted to look for the truth. The association would like to state that no Superior Court judge is or has ever been paid ex gratia every 4 years has been wrongly stated in the media. And this is signed by Justice Henry Kofi, President of the Association of Magistrates and High Court Judges.
Okay. Well, let me take you to the Office of the Special Prosecutor now. And we're told after weeks of demand for the composition of the board, finally there's an inauguration happening today. And my colleague Papani Ashale is there for us and joins us on the line. Papani, tell us more. Who and who make up this board?
Yeah, so Emefa is a 9-member committee, but just 8 of them were inducted today. So we have the special prosecutor, Mr. Kijabin, as part of the board. Then the deputy special prosecutor, we have Madam Cynthia Blamte, and then the deputy audit service. There's a rep from the audit, I beg pardon, Mr. Lawrence Aya Jiba, and then we have the rep for the Ghana Police Service, Fred Simpon. Then there's a rep from Yoko, that is Jacqueline Opoku. Then we have from some other institutions like the SRAJ, National Security, and that of the Anti-Corruption Civil Society. So we have overseas as well.
I was intrigued when one media house reported recently that only an amount of 10 billion Ghana cedis has been released so far this year for the Office of the Special Prosecutor. This, the media house reported, without regard to the general situation affecting budgetary allocations and releases for institutions investigating and prosecuting crime.
That's the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah Dame there speaking during the inauguration. They had my colleague, Michael Papani Ashale, bringing us details of that. I'll take you to Parliament now. And in a rare show of bipartisanship, leadership of both the minority and majority have lashed out at ministers who refuse to appear before Parliament to answer questions. Our parliamentary correspondent, Kwekwa Sante, joins us on the line. Who is the latest minister to have refused to attend upon Parliament? Okay, so it looks like we don't have Kwekwa Sante on the line, but we are told that the Transport Minister, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, was expected to answer 9 questions but failed to show up. Last week, we know about the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, also failed to appear before the House, and this is raising concerns for members of Parliament. Now, the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition is making a strong case for the legislature and executive to have the Affirmative Action Bill passed with immediacy. The bill seeks inclusion and an increase in women's participation in decision-making and positions when passed into law. Convener of the coalition, Sheila Menka-Premo, says the call has become urgent now as a result of research showing an increase in discrimination against women in the country. My colleague Samuel Imbura is there for us and joins us on the line. What more are they seeking? Hello, Samuel.
Yeah, hello, Emefa.
So we had Madam Sheila Menka-Premo make the point about an increase in discrimination against women in Ghana. What evidence does she provide to support this?
Well, Emefa, sorry. The reference is being made to the Domestic Violence Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service. Another reference is the fact that they have been moving around the country, hearing stories of people who have experienced some level of abuse. So it is based on this that they are making the point that there is rising cases of abuse of women who are mostly classified under the marginalized in society.
Basically, our constitution, Article 17, says that there shouldn't be any discrimination on the basis of gender. That means you shouldn't have a law which benefits one particular gender against the other. But Article 17.4 of the Constitution states clearly that nothing in this article shall prevent Parliament from enacting laws that are reasonably necessary to provide for the implementation of policies and programs aimed at redressing social, economic, and educational imbalance in the Ghanaian society. So one of the things we stand on to make a push for this law is that a lot of research has gone on. It's been found out that there's a lot of discrimination, particularly against women, socially, economically, and then educationally. So it is time for Parliament to enact this law. Again, Article 35, 6B of the Constitution.
That's Madam Sheila Menka-Premo there with the Affirmative Action Coalition. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News. And there's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. 4 first-term NPP MPs accused of taking double salaries. We've been hearing from some of them who say they never took it. And also, Hayward Mills, one other not included in National Cathedrals Incorporation. That's according to Okujetua Blackwine, Attorney General, to swear in OSB board today. That has just happened. We've been telling you about it. That and more on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa. Apawu. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. Many thanks for your company.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure,